Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am so excited you're here with me today as we continue this personal growth journey. So, today I'm going to be talking about, can complaining and blaming coexist with living in gratitude? Now, I don't think it can coexist, and maybe you think otherwise, but I think a lot of people, they get into this cycle of blaming and complaining about things and probably aren't even aware that that's what they're doing. I know I've run into people all the time, and it used to be something I used to do all the time also. And in fact, today I was at the store with a friend of mine, and there was a woman who bought a ton of things, and then she asked if she could um, uh, write a check or pay some way, and they said no. So she had to stop what she was doing and go into ATM machine and pull out the money. And my friend said to me, like, does she look like the type of person who'd be uh, shopping in a store like this? And I said to her, you know what? Let's not judge her. I'd really rather not even talk about her at all. There's no point to it. And she was like, you know what? You're right. So it's like, do we catch ourselves saying things that aren't necessary and could be hurtful to other people? But also, when we get into this habit of blaming and complaining, it's very interesting. Most of the time, we are blaming or complaining over things that we actually have control over but do nothing about. And so, who are you complaining to? If you're complaining about your job to your significant other, how is that going to help you? Right? So we need to start to think about, what are the language patterns that we're using, and are they constructive or positive and are going to help us to go in the direction that we want to move in life? Or they're going to keep us stuck where we are right now. So, the other things that people complain about is, their job, but they're not talking to their boss about it, or they're not looking at, what can I do to be a better employee, right? They're putting the blame on everybody else. Oh, it's their fault that I'm not doing a good job, instead of really looking at what it is that you could do yourself in order to improve your situation and be a better employee to get the raises and the promotions that you're looking for. How many of you know people in your life right now that always need to be right? I know for me, I've had people in my life over the years that, we go to an event and they always have to find something to complain about. It happened on numerous occasions, or they're always correcting you, whatever you do, whether you ask for it or not. And they always can do it better than whoever else is doing it. You go to a play, oh, I could have directed that better. I could have dressed people better. I can do a much better job at everything. But yet, are they really successful in their life and their interpersonal relationships? So everything in our life is based on our actions or our inactions. So, are you taking steps to improve your situation, or are you not? Because by taking inaction is a huge statement in itself. So, let me give you an example. Let's say you're married or you're in a relationship with somebody, and right now you're putting in a lot of work, a lot of hours at work, and every day you come home and you're exhausted, and all you want to do is plop down on the couch and watch the football game or whatever game's on, right? And your significant other wants to spend time with you or to speak with you, and you say, you know what, I'll do it later. And you keep pushing them off until pretty soon you realize they're in, at the lawyer's office asking for divorce, because you couldn't give them the time or the things that they needed in order to help the relationship flourish. So, are you taking steps to improve the situation or not? And if you're not, maybe if you start asking yourself, what could I do to change this situation? What could I do to improve, to make a bigger impact on everybody around me? And of course, the biggest question is, are you willing to change or not? Because at some point you realize that you've created the situation based on your action or your inaction. And only by changing that and growing and being in a making different choices will you then begin to have different outcomes. I had once met this woman. We had a coaching session, and she said to me that she felt really guilty. She wanted to remarry. She was married. She had an affair on her husband and then regretted it. They got divorced. And shortly thereafter, he remarried. And here it is like 10, 12 years later, and she's still single. And she's still harboring this guilt for what she did. And the results are she's still single because she can't move past what she had done. She hasn't learned to forgive herself yet. But what if when she was feeling lonely in the relationship, she said to her husband, you know what? I really feel like I need more from you. Um, I'm feeling lonely. I need more attention. Can we go and do things together? If she had spoken up about what she needed and responded to him in a different way, that he wanted to give those things to her, perhaps they'd still be married right now. And so sometimes our lack of action speaks volumes. And what are you willing to do in order to change that in the future? Because oftentimes when bad things are coming down the road, we have a gut instinct about it. We can feel it in our heart. We know the writing's on the wall. Let's say, they're laying off people at work and you have the feeling you're going to be one of them. Well, that's a good time to examine what it is that you are doing or not doing that is putting you on the chopping block. Maybe there's something you could still do to change your situation at this point. But if you don't start asking those questions and start analyzing your life and what's good and what's bad and what you could do to change it, nothing is going to change. So are you willing to change these situations in the future? And I know I've showed this before, and I'm going to show it again because I think it's a really powerful metaphor, and I hope you can see it well, because unfortunately this flame in this candle isn't as bright as I would hope it would be. But let's see if we can see this. Okay, so you see down there is a flame in this candle. And if that flame is your gratitude, it lights up, it's bright, it fills the room, it fills everybody around you. But when you start blaming and complaining, think of these matches as you're blaming and complaining, and see what happens when you put them in the candle. Let me get them together. There we go. And now both flames, it has now sucked all the air out of this candle. And so there's no room for gratitude anymore. So you cannot be in both places at one time. And the blaming and complaining hasn't gotten you anywhere so far in your life. I'm sure you're not as happy as you could be. Your relationships aren't as good as they could be. You're not as successful as you want to be. Because when we look for fault, that's what we find. So we know that everything in the universe is what goes around comes around. So what are you putting out there in the world? So if you want to be more successful, then you need to start to act more successful and act like successful people do. And successful people take ownership of their mistakes. They do not complain about what isn't working. They go and seek people, or they look inside of themselves of what did I do to cause this situation that I can now change it for the future. And so if you want to start to create a more fulfilling life, then maybe if you would like your job to be more fulfilling, wow, what would it look like if you went up to your boss and said, you know what, I would really like some constructive feedback on things that I could do to improve my work performance and be of more value to this company. Right there, you would make brownie points because I'm sure not too many people are doing that. And if you follow through on those actions, then you're even higher up on the list. You can also do this with your teammates. You can do this with your significant others. It's really, really important that you look at what it is that you're doing to create the situation. And if you're not sure what it is, ask people. Don't be shy. The other things you can do is read personal growth books or business books. You know, if you're a salesman, read books on how to be a better salesman. Then you create more value for your company. You raise your personal income. Your standard of living goes up. You know, there's a ripple effect in many areas of your life. So you have to decide, are you going to continue to stay small where you're at and blame everybody for your situation? Or are you willing to stand out and move into the top 5% and do what they do to be successful? Because we all have those gifts inside of us to grow and to be the best version of ourselves. But oftentimes we need to step out of our own way in order to create that reality and to create those dreams in our lives. And we allow fear to stop us. Now, fear is a natural reaction. But if you allow fear to stop you, then you're keeping yourself small. What you need to do is take those fears and use them to your advantage to motivate you to be the best version of yourself that you could be. So other important things that you could do in order to grow and be a more successful person and get out of that complaining and start to really move into gratitude is maybe hire a coach. You know, coaching is very different from therapy. A lot of times with therapy, they keep you talking about what you did in the past. But with coaching, what we do is say, okay, where are you now? And what do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? And then what steps do we need to do to get you there? Because the past happened and there's nothing you can do about it. But reframe the way that you view it. We've all had things in our life that weren't positive, but what you do with that information is up to you. And if you use it for a springboard for growth, instead of being stuck in the past and small, then you're already a hero. Because that's really what those events that happen in our life that are negative and tough, they're there to help us grow to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. So I encourage you all to grow and to live big and to start to dream big as well. Also, another thing you can do is to learn to view every situation as an opportunity for growth and to embrace it. So again, if there's an area in your life that you're seeing, like let's say you're having communication problems in your relationships, whether it be at work or in your household, learn new skills. You know, if you're triggering other people in your household, maybe you need to look at what is it that I'm saying that's causing them to react that way. and change your speech patterns, because they can't hear it the way that you're saying it. And if you keep saying it the same way every single time, you're going to get the exact same results. So if you want different results, then you have to put it on yourself to do different things instead of expecting everybody else to change to make you happy. The other thing you can do, which is such a powerful tool, is to start a gratitude journal. Write down every night before you go to sleep 5 things that you are grateful for that happened that day. And every day, add 5 new things and try not to duplicate your list. Because what we're doing is we're hardwiring our brain, we're retraining our brain for positivity. And if you do that right before you go to sleep, that is so powerful, because what we focus on, especially before we go to sleep, that's what the brain, the subconscious mind, works on. It tries to find solutions for that. So if you're focusing on really positive things in your life, then it's going to give you more positive things to look for. It's really cool how this works. And the other thing that I want you to start doing, which is such a simple thing, but it is so powerful. Many times throughout the day, we go into a store, we interact with other people. Last week, I was at the grocery store and I was in the checkout line, and there was like 3 or 4 people ahead of me, and they just, put their groceries on the thing, and the cashier told them how much the amount was. They paid it and they were on their way. And I put my stuff there and he's ringing it up, and I said to him, "How are you today?" And he looked up at me really surprised, and he had a smile on his face, and he was like, "Wow, thank you so much for asking." Those one little thing, you could change a person's life or their day just by saying some kind words and appreciating what they do for you. How about the person in your office who cleans up every day? They empty your trash, they vacuum the floors, they keep the bathrooms clean. Why not thank them for that? They need to be noticed as well. And it makes them feel so good, and it hasn't taken a lot of energy out of you, but it makes you feel good as well, because you can see the smile and the effect that your few kind words have made on this person. So how about the garbage man who picks up the garbage on the street? If you happen to be out there when they come by, tell them thank you. I mean, look, 100 years ago, they didn't have garbage men and the streets stunk. So if you appreciate your garbage being picked up every few days, thank them for it, right? It's no sweat off of your back, but it makes a huge difference in somebody else's life. And the last thing that I want to leave with is, make sure the people that are most important to you in your life, that you that you express appreciation for the things that they do. Oftentimes women work really hard. I'm not saying men don't work hard either, but women who work full time and then have to come home and cook dinner and do the laundry and drive the kids to this sports thing and that sport thing, nobody shows her appreciation for all that she does for the family. And so what would it hurt if you started instituting every night at dinner, when you're all sitting together, is express one thing of gratitude to each other for everybody in your family? What a difference it would make in your family dynamic if you start expressing things that you appreciate your siblings, your spouse, whoever is in your household. So I'm encouraging you to get out of your comfort zone and create these lasting relationships that are positive and fulfilling and will move you into gratitude. Our words are powerful, and they can change somebody's day or somebody's life. And so could our negative words. So why not make them positive and change somebody's or have a positive effect on the people around you? So thank you for tuning in today. And don't forget, we'll have the daily dose all week. I hope you like my new dude today. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you.